A very warm welcome to each and every investor present here today. We have with us our Chief Product Officer, Mr. Karan Batra, who would be providing insights on researching and transacting with mutual funds on MarketsMojo. Towards the end, we'll also be having a Q&A session. You can drop in any queries you have in the chat box below the video. Over to you, Mr. Karan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Like Jason mentioned, what I'll take you through is the newest feature on MarketsMojo, which is the mutual fund transaction platform. And I'll also give you like a little bit of sense of what we've done. How can you start your transactions? How can you find the best funds? How we rate funds? I think that is very important so that you can know how much rigor goes behind it, and what are the new features we'll be coming up with, in near future. So first, I just want to announce that MarketsMojo has gone transactional with the launch of mutual fund transaction platform. This is the first step that we've taken to build a completely integrated platform. So the first step in this is the mutual fund transactions. You can start your account and do your transactions from the platform itself. What are the features of this platform? It is quick. Your account setup will take only a few minutes, and once your account is set up, you can start doing lump sum, SIP the same time. So the account setup probably will take 2 to 3 minutes. If you have your you just need your PAN card and your bank account details handy with you, and just keep your phone because you get a couple of OTPs that you have to kind of authenticate. Once you do that, in a couple of minutes your account is set up and you can start transacting directly. There's no one-day wait like in a broking account, because this is a mutual fund platform. You can start transacting right at that moment itself. It's a very secure platform. The money never comes to MarketsMojo. We never handle your money. Your money goes directly from your bank account to the AMC via BSE Star platform. So BSE Star is the industry leader in this technology of enabling mutual fund transactions. We've integrated directly with them, so it's a completely secure platform. If for whatever reason the transaction fails, the money will come back to your account. If it's deducted, it will come back to your account. That's the responsibility of BSE Star and the RTAs. So one thing you should understand when investing in mutual funds, let's say you're doing it through MarketsMojo. So you place your order with us. We'll see that your details match and you're doing it from your own account. BSE Star will deduct that money. So it'll go to a payment gateway where the money will go to BSE Star. That BSE Star will take your request. It will send it to RTA. RTA is there are 2 RTAs, which is CAMS and Carvi, which is now KFintech. They will verify that all the transaction details that you put, the fund that you selected, the amount has come from BSE Star to that account. Everything matches, and then the units are allotted. If there is any fail at any stage, if the money is deducted, it comes back to your account via RTA or via BSE Star back to your account. So it's a very safe platform. You don't have to worry about the money. All the transactions are always in your name only. It's not in the name of MarketsMojo anywhere. So let's say Karan Batra as an individual comes and starts his account, the transaction account. All the funds that I buy will be in my name. So tomorrow, if I do not want to be with MarketsMojo anymore and I want to invest somewhere else or shift my funds, it is always in my name. So if tomorrow I download my statement from CAMS, I'll see these funds also listed there, right? So it's a completely secure platform. What you get here, we've been doing MarketsMojo research across all fund categories, all the major fund categories. Now, also, we took some time to build this transaction engine because we wanted to test our research engine, how good it is, how robust it is, and now we've seen it over a year and a half that it has been pretty stable. The fund that we've been recommending or the switches that we've been suggesting have been very stable, and that's why we've come out and now introduced the transaction, so that gives us also the confidence that if we're telling you that this is a bad fund and this is a better fund to invest in, that usually works in that way. Although mutual funds is not something that you'll be transacting on a monthly or a daily basis. We understand it's a longer term investment, but one more thing that we need to understand is mutual fund is not essentially a buy and forget strategy. It is a buy and hold, but not a buy and forget strategy. We were doing a research and we found out a top fund in 1 year is a bottom fund in the next year, comes back again and the top goes again to the bottom. So it's very fluctuating. A fund manager will not consistently beat the benchmark. So we need to see this. We need to be invested in the right funds. We need to switch at the right moment. Not very frequently, but we need to be on top of our investments and take corrective action whenever it is required. We've introduced a very seamless import function wherein only with your PAN number, so you put your PAN number, you put your mobile number, you get an OTP, and we'll be able to fetch all your holdings across any player, whether it is a regular that you've done with any of the distributor, your local distributor, or let's say you were interacting from some other website or from the mutual fund website directly you bought something. Only with your PAN number and your mobile number and OTP, we'll be able to get all your holdings in one place. Now this again is a very secure platform which is by MF Central. MF Central is a joint entity by CAMS and Carvey, which are the two RTAs in India. So the information directly comes from the source. It again is optional. Only if you authorize via your mobile number and OTP will we be able to fetch this transaction. Again, we can't do anything with this transaction. Even if we get it, it's not like we can sell it or we can get that money in our account, because like I said, these investments are always and always in your name. So we'll be only able to show you, we'll be able to analyze that portfolio for you. We'll tell you which funds are good, which funds are bad, so you can take an informed decision. But it's a very seamless process. Just with your PAN number and mobile, you can get all these transactions. Now, when we launched this feature, there were some teething issues. Someone was like, this fund is not appearing or something like this is not reflecting. But, we've kind of rectified those issues. Again, this we had to very actively engage with MF Central, with CAMS, with Carvey to get all these things sorted. But now it is very stable, I can say. So please try this feature. If you face any issue, you can always reach out to us. But as far as we know now, the transaction and the holdings are very seamlessly imported for everyone. Once you import your portfolio, we'll give you against every fund, whether it is a buy, hold or sell rated as per our system. Like I said, we've taken our time to build this to see that whether our ratings work, and we've seen that they've been able to beat the average fund categories and the fund, the broader benchmarks very consistently, and that's why we're pretty confident that what we're saying should help you take the right decisions. All transactions that you will do through MarketsMojo are 0% commission. So they only go to the direct schemes, the direct option. So every fund, they have multiple kind of options. So there will be regular, there will be, so two things are regular and direct, where a regular fund is where there is a distribution commission inbuilt. So let's say you put in 100 rupees, the distributor through whom you bought this will get 1 rupee out of that, and 99 gets invested. And also not just this, every year basis the value of this 100. Now, let's say the market goes up, it becomes 110. The distributor keeps getting some portion of that from the AMC. AMC is your mutual fund house every year for introducing you to this investment avenue. When you invest through us, we'll only put in direct funds. So indirect, there is no distribution commission. So this 1%, about 1% also gets invested. So if you put in 100, the entire 100 will get invested. So you, and every year again, nothing comes back to us in terms of any commission. That entire return extra will keep accumulating to you. Now you will say, what is 1%? Why should I take the hassle of 1%? This 1% is very powerful because of the value of compounding. Now, just for example, if you invest 10 lakh rupees for a period of 6.5 years, now we've assumed 12% is the fund return. For a period of 6.5 years, this 1% will be the difference of 1.25 lakhs in your final value. So because of compounding, this 1% is very powerful. and you can get this return. Otherwise, you're giving this money to a distributor just for introducing you to this investment option, right? So what all can you do from the portal? Only direct plans, so that you save that commission and in fact you make that extra return. You can buy all types of funds, equities, debt, hybrid, index funds, all the open-ended funds. You cannot buy closed-ended funds which essentially only open for a period of time and then they're not tradable. So you can't buy those. All the open-end funds, and most of the funds are open-ended, so you will not face any issue. But just things like FMPs, which are closed-ended, those cannot be bought from this portal. You cannot buy ETFs. Now people get confused, they want to invest in ETFs and they say that, I can't do this because, so there's a difference in index funds and ETFs. ETFs are like stocks. They trade on the exchange. Although let's say there's a Nifty ETF and a Nifty index fund, both are essentially doing the same work in which, both are investing in Nifty 50 stocks in that same proportion. That's their whole construct. But the index fund you can buy from the AMC directly. So, you can only buy and sell on the NAV. So you want to buy, the AMC will give you those units, and once you sell, AMC kind of redeems it back. ETF is like a stock. So it trades on the exchange. You're buying it from another investor who is selling it. So that's the difference. So ETF you can buy during the day also. If I want to buy 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock, doesn't matter. Index fund, like any other mutual fund, you can only buy at the end of the day. So that's the difference in index and ETF. So ETFs you can buy from your stock broker, whoever you broke with, Zerodha, Upstocks, Motilal Oswal. You can buy your ETFs from the broking partner. Index funds you can buy from the AMC, which is through our platform also. So next, what I want to show you is the fund rating part, how we rate funds. But probably what I'll do here is I'll just go to the website. I'll show you where you can find the top rated funds, and then I'll tell you how we rate these funds. So once you go to MarketsMojo, now when you go to MarketsMojo, you'll also see this new menu that we've introduced. So what we've done is we made it very seamless to navigate across multiple different products on the site. So when I'm in mutual funds, if let's say I clicked on explore mutual funds, you'll reach here. You can go to the top rated funds, you can research any fund, you can go to your portfolio, or you can do any transaction. So to see all the top rated funds in one place, you can just come here at this place. Here you will find all the top rated, let's say large cap, mid cap, small cap funds. Right now is the season of tax saving, so you should check out the ELSS funds also if you want to save on your taxes. And otherwise, you'll find all the major categories here. Some categories you might not find, like liquid funds, overnight funds, which are practically cash, or funds where there are very few funds in that particular category, because we need some minimum number of funds, minimum number of history of those funds to rate those. So in case in a particular category there are not many funds, those categories will not be here. But otherwise, you'll see all the major categories listed and rated. So if I want, let's say, quant mid-cap fund is a top-rated mid-cap fund, I can come here, I can see all the details of this fund. I can see the other fund in this category, and I can also transact directly in this fund, whether it is a one-time or an SIP. Now my account is already set up. If your account is not set up, once you do continue, you'll have to set up your account. And I'll also show you how to set up your account, how easy it is. Now again, going back here. So in this, this will be your landing. So, this will give you a good way of what you want to do. Now, when I'm in my portfolio, now my portfolio is already imported. This is a dummy portfolio. So I can see all these things. Now, funds that I've bought from MarketsMojo portal, those will be listed something like this. And what I have from somewhere else, those will be listed as external. Now, there are various things that you can do. Let's say for this fund, you can either invest more, you can switch, redeem, or view all the transactions in this particular fund that you've done. Now, invest, redeem, view transaction, you'll see. Switch is something that will be rolled out for everyone very soon. Now, it's rolled out for my dummy account, but not for everyone else. But this will be coming in the probably next 1 or 2 days for everyone. Now, let's say I want to invest more directly. I can put the amount here, the SIP or one-time investment. Let's say it is 20 rupees. I can confirm and I can put my UPI ID or the net banking ID and directly I'll buy this. Again, this goes to the BSE Star platform and from there the transaction happens. I can also, like you saw here, add this to the cart. So let's say I want to invest more. Sorry, I'll go this one. I want to invest more. Let's say 34 rupees. I can add it to the cart and put maybe other things also in the cart. Add to cart. And then I can see my cart and invest in one go. So there might be funds which are SIPs or lump sum. I can do all the payment in one go itself. So it's very easy, like a shopping experience. You can also, let's say, search a fund. So now in this new improved search that we put, you can search across stocks, mutual fund, everything together. So if I put HDFC, I know HDFC Bank, HDFC Life, but I'll also see HDFC funds listed here. I can directly click on MFs if I want to see the mutual funds. And let's say I want HDFC Top 100 fund. I can just click here directly, put the amount, and make the payment or add it to cart. So I can do all of this and check out in one place itself. So it's very simple process of, and yeah, so when we are here, I'll also show you how to import. So you can see here, this is the import function. You click on this, you'll see, so right now you can see CAMS and mobile number. So CAMS is something that again will be rolled out in the next 1 or 2 days for everyone. But right now this feature you will see for everyone, which is using mobile number. It's a very, very simple feature. You just come here, you put in your PAN, put in your mobile number, you'll get an OTP and your transaction will be fetched in one go itself. So now we saw all the top rated funds, where you can find these funds, but do these really work, or how do we rate funds? Now what I want to show you is there is a lot of rigor that we do to rate these funds to show you the best possible outcome. So for every fund, there are 3 broad parameters that we use. There are various sub parameters, but 3 broad parameters on which we rate every fund. First is the performance. Now in performance, we're not looking at just one factor. We look at, our main focus here is the consistency of performance. Is the fund consistently doing well versus the benchmark and versus the peers? Now sometimes you might say, oh, this is your top rated fund, but it's given 5% in the last 1 year, while the other fund is given 10%. Why is the top rated fund? What we're looking at is consistency, not just in one period. If one fund does better, that does not become a top rated fund. It has to do well consistently over a period of time. So second is the risk, where we're looking at the broad parameters of statistical measures of the beta, the drawdowns, etc. Again, consistently versus the benchmarks. And third is the portfolio strength. Now, because MarketsMojo is rating all the underlying stocks, we use that information to come out with the overall portfolio level strength of a fund. Going in a bit more detail about these factors, the first one, like I was telling you, is the performance evaluation. So important things for us is we do take a longer period of, let's say, the evaluation period, and we're seeing, okay, is the fund doing well over the long period? But consistency becomes a very important factor. Now, how we measure consistency is not like last 3 months, last 6 months, because in that method, the latest period will distort everything else. So we divide the period into equal buckets, 6 buckets. And so we're measuring that, okay, on its own, in this period, did it do well, in the next period, in the next period, so that we can measure properly how regularly the fund manager is able to beat the benchmark or the peers. And one important factor that we do consider is the SIP returns of the fund. Now, because SIP is a very important tool for investment for most investors, so we want to see funds which are doing well even when you're doing SIP and not just one-time investment. For risk measures, we look at the broader measures of beta, which measures how sensitive it is to its benchmark. So if let's say one fund is benchmarked to a BSE 100, if BSE 100 goes up, it goes up a lot, or it comes down a lot. Is it like very sensitive to the movement or not very sensitive? So that's the beta measure. how volatile the fund is. Does it have performance, very high performance, very low performance? Does it fluctuate? And the third is drawdown. Drawdown is basically the maximum loss someone would have suffered in a particular period. So these are all statistical measures that we use in our analysis. We also look at liquidity and concentration parameters. Now, sometimes the funds become so big that essentially the underlying investments become illiquid. Now, this may not happen probably in a lot of large cap stocks, large cap funds, but can happen in mid and small caps. Actually, with the size of the large cap fund, this can even happen in large caps these days. We've seen funds that are holding close to 100, 500 times a stock versus its daily liquidity. So let's say a stock, there are 100 shares of this particular stock gets traded on a daily basis. We've seen funds holding 10,000 shares. Now tomorrow, if they have to sell in a panic, it's very, very difficult. So let's say there's a very bad news or some problem has happened with the company, they'll not be able to liquidate that particular holding only for a very, very long time. So liquidity and concentration become very important when we're looking at the size of the fund and how liquid or how easily it can move between opportunities. Sometimes what we've seen is when a fund is smaller, because of the size is small, they can identify an opportunity, get in at an early stage or get out, very nimbly. But when they become very big, it becomes very difficult to move. So beyond the point, they're not able to, invest in the right stocks because they have to maintain that kind of liquidity in the fund structure. So these factors become very important when analyzing the risk of the fund. And the third parameter, like I was mentioning now, because we are rating all 4,000 stocks, we use that intelligence to see how the portfolio of the fund, how strong the portfolio of the fund is versus its other peers in the market. Not just this. Once we've done all these analysis, so there are main parameters, there are sub-parameters, there are a lot of data points that we get for all the funds. Then we say what factor is important for which particular fund category. Now, for example, consistency of returns might be very important for small caps, but the portfolio strength might be very important for mid caps. So higher weight will be given to the factors which are highly correlated with that particular fund category. So, and this factor weights are monitored on a regular basis and the weights get adjusted based on the changing correlation of the factors. So rest assured, what we're doing is we're doing a lot of in-depth analysis on the data of the mutual funds, and we use the factors which are important for that particular fund to come out with our set of ratings for each category. And that's why we're saying it's a very detailed category performance. We've seen this performance, backtesting is one thing, but we've seen this in the live environment. And we've seen that it to be doing reasonably well versus the other peers. Now, what are the other players? You see a lot of, there are some star performance, some other rating agencies also that do it. One thing that, we've seen is they take trailing periods like last 6 months, last 1 year. Like I was saying, that distorts the performance because if the fund has done well in the recent period, the last 3, 6, 1 year, everything will be good. So we always found that consistency is a much better way when you're investing for the long term rather than trailing periods. MarketsMojo has a unique ability to rate all the stocks, and that's why our portfolio evaluation tool becomes very important. And the dynamic selection of the weights to every category rather than having fixed weights all the time. We think these are great things which enhance the performance of our model. Now I'll show you quickly how easy it is to set up your transaction account so that you can make use of these highly rated funds from MarketsMojo, probably use the ELSS funds to save taxes also. So once you come to the portal, just keep your PAN card and your bank details handy and your mobile phone. You'll have to, some things which are regulatory required, you'll have to do that. Like you'll have to verify your email ID. We'll have to ask you again because you have to verify this. Using an OTP, you put a phone number and you'll get an OTP. You can only put an India number. If you're an NRI, you're not currently residing in it, you don't have an India number, please write to us. It's an offline process. It's a slightly longer process. You'll have to do some physical documents. Only for NRIs and non-individual, it's a slightly painful process. But otherwise, for resident Indians, it's a very seamless process. Everything electronic. and you don't have to upload any documents. You just put in your PAN number, basis that, and PAN number and date of birth. We'll verify that with the KRA agencies, and we'll within seconds know whether the name matches, the date of birth matches, so that we can download those documents. So only you can start this process if you're KYC verified at this moment, so that electronically we can get your details. Once we know you're KYC verified, some basic questions that you put. Now again, these are all regulatory requirements, so but it just takes a couple of few clicks, and you'll be through with this, like your gender, your marital status, your parents' names, your profession, your annual income. Once this is done, we'll have to verify a bank. Now this bank account gets linked to your account, so all the transactions that you'll be doing going forward will be through this bank account. Like I was telling you, I showed you there are two options of UPI and net banking, but those can only happen through this account. Now, let's say I put some bank account and I'm using UPI from some other bank account, it will fail. That will not go through. So please be very careful in putting the bank details. Once you put the bank details, we'll verify. We'll put a 1 rupee in your account to get your name, and that name has to match with your PAN name, and only then your account will be activated. So that's it. And yes, so one thing is becoming very important now, that you have to put your nominee details. Right now it's optional, but this will become mandatory from 1st of April. But ideally everyone should have nominee. If you've not put your nominees in your other mutual fund, please go to those portals and put your nominee detail. It is very, very important. So, if anything happens to you, there is someone will get those assets. Otherwise, it becomes a very lengthy process of litigations. And that's it. Your account is set up. So it's within minutes. You only have to put your PAN card, your basic details. You'll get a couple of OTPs to verify your email and mobile number and your bank details, and your account will be set up and you can start transacting. Before we go to the Q&A, I just want to announce that only for people who are in the webinar, we have a very special subscription rate of only 26,999 for 2 years and 3 months. So you get 3 months extra, which is only available for people who are in this webinar. Now this can be on top of your existing subscription. If you have, let's say, 1 year on your subscription, you buy this, your subscription gets extended. You'll have 3 years and 3 months. If you're not a MarketsMojo subscriber yet, it's a great feature. You get, along with mutual fund transaction, you get fundamentals, you get trading AT, and mutual fund research. So it's a very big package. Now, if you want to understand what's in fundamental trading AT, we keep having separate webinars. There's also a long list of things that you can see on the website. Just the menu here will help you of all the things that you get in the MarketsMojo Professional. Please check out these. It's very, very helpful for all your investment needs, for all your stock and now mutual fund investment needs. So with that, I'll open the floor for Q&A.
Okay, so I'll drop the link in the chat box for the offer. Starting off this first question by Shyam. Hi Karan, is it possible for a fund to outperform the pack coupled with minimum volatility, outscoring returns while keeping expenses in check in the current atmosphere?
That's a holy grail everyone is looking for. And so what we have seen is that funds do not consistently outperform the benchmark. There is always a level of volatility. Like one fund is a top performer 1 year, goes to the bottom performer the next year. There's always a reversion to mean. So that's why I say that mutual fund is a buy and hold. It's not a buy and forget strategy. You have to continuously monitor your mutual fund investments also and take corrective action whenever it is warranted. So what we say in our rating, so once you import your portfolio, you'll get whether it's buy, hold or sell rated. We say that till the time it is hold, you can continue holding it, but otherwise once it goes to sell, I think it's the right time to then again reanalyze your portfolio and take corrective action wherever it is required.
Okay, this next question, this is by Shilpa. Is there any best fund for SWP to get pension-like income?
So SWP essentially is the withdrawal option. So like SIP, for everyone, I'll just explain. For the SIP, like you're investing every month a fixed amount. In SWP, you're withdrawing every month from a fixed amount. If you're looking at this purely from a pension perspective, then the focus has to shift from an equity fund to a more debt-oriented fund where and that to a lower duration, probably liquid, where uh, investment is not volatile. So that needs to be taken care of. So I'll not say one fund. I'll probably give a bit of guidance on the what all parameters you have to see. A, it cannot be a very volatile investment class. So you cannot have a small cap investment because the value keeps shifting. So if you're withdrawing continuously, that's the source from which you'll be withdrawing money for pension perspective. It cannot be a very volatile asset class. It ideally build a portfolio that has different asset classes inbuilt, so that the volatile, if one kind of category has something, the other compensates for it. Like that's why we say that it has to be a mix of debt and equity. But in this case, it has to be higher debt allocation, so that it's not very volatile. The amount is much more stable, and a part of equity, but that too not very volatile, like probably large cap or multi cap fund is what I would say should be the thing. But it should be predominantly debt, so that the withdrawal that you see is the value of the portfolio remains more on the stable lines.
Okay, moving on to this next particular question. This is by Umakant. Good evening, Karan. Can you tell us when are you launching the redemption facility of existing mutual funds, and also the date for launching model portfolio for mutual funds?
So redeem we've already launched. Right now you can redeem all your direct funds. So if you bought a direct fund from some other platform or maybe from the mutual fund directly, once you import your transactions, you can redeem those funds. So just when you're in your portfolio, you see these three dots. You can click on that and click on redeem. So right now it's available for all the direct funds. For the regular fund, it is still not there. For the regular funds, we need some approvals from the exchange that we've already applied for, and that should happen probably in a couple of weeks. So whenever that comes, we'll again introduce, we'll tell everyone about it. But right now the direct funds can be done from this platform. What was the next part of the question, Jason? Can you put it again?
What's the date for launching a model portfolio for mutual funds?
Yes, so model portfolio is something that we'll be building. So just to give you a little roadmap of what we've done and what we're going to do. Right now what we're doing is we're first completing all the transaction related factors. So we've done invest, we've done redeem regular will come, switch is coming very soon, STP will come, SWP will come. So the entire transaction suite will be completed over the next, I think my sense is 3 to 4 weeks, probably a couple of days here and there. But in that thing, all this should be completed, including your import facility from mobile OTP is already there. CAMS is coming in the next couple of days only, not weeks. So this entire transaction suite will be completed. After that, we'll move on to the advisory bits, which is your portfolio analysis. You get all the funds, but on top of that, what all can be done there, those models, your model portfolios, those will be launching after that.
Okay, question by Nandini. Thanks, Karan. As usual, a very nice presentation. I have 2 questions. First one, when we import and fetch, does the whole portfolio move out of the existing platform under regular scheme, which I was informed by my distributor that it involves a cost for me, and should we not be informing them? Also, out of curiosity, if we pay you no fees whatsoever as we go under direct scheme, what's in it for you?
Sure. So I think it's a very good question in terms of that will give you clarity. Once you import the portfolio, nothing moves. Your investment is still in your name with your distributor or whoever you bought it from. Nothing changes. It is not moving to direct. Once you import, you can just view it in our platform. Then you have an option whether you want to redeem it, whether you want to switch will come. So if you want to do that, those options are available on the platform. Right now, regular redeem is not available. That will come soon. So nothing changes. Only what you're doing is you're taking investments from everywhere, you're putting it on MarketsMojo platform, you're getting research across your funds from here. If you want to sell it or switch it, you can always call your agent also that, I'm doing that. That's up to you. But, if you don't know, that's your choice. So nothing changes. Everything is in your name. Everything still continues with your advisor. It's just that you're watching everything on the MarketsMojo platform. You're right. There is no direct income for us in this. However, when the transaction leg is complete and we build the advisory pieces on top of that. So like if you have some money, how do you invest? Or your existing portfolio, what are the things that you have to continuously monitor those on. So all the advisory bits is what will come, will be on the paid platform. It might already be there for our professional users. For the non-professional users, those will come on the paid platforms. So those are the things where we'll make money on this particular product, but not just transactions. So what we always believe is transactions are incidental. What we will help you with is the advisory part. So we're getting the incidental things out of the way so that we can then focus on advisory.
Okay. So Varghese asked, what about mutual fund transactions for NRIs?
So for NRIs can do it. The only thing is right now NRIs who are residing in US and Canada, though they cannot transact through our platform. But if you're an NRI and you want to invest, you want to do your transaction account, you can please write to us at support@marketsmojo.com, or you can go to your feedback portal and just write a feedback. We'll help you to set your account. But it is an offline process. It takes some time. We've seen it takes probably a couple of weeks to get it activated, because a lot of forms that we'll send you a form, you'll have to sign it, you have to scan it and scan some documents and send it to us. So it's a little longer process right now for NRIs, but it can be done. So please write to us with the details, or Jason, please take the details of Mr. Varghese and we can write to him.
Okay. Sita asked this question: can we import only direct mutual funds or all mutual funds?
No, when you import, all your holdings will be imported on the platform, and this is just a way so that you can consolidate everything and you can see everything in one place. So not necessarily that you want to do it only direct and regular, because this will give you a facility to actually see everything together. This is a good thing, we believe, for you only, rather than seeing things differently. But there's no facility that you can only choose regular or direct. Everything gets imported.
Okay, Sanjay asked a question: can mutual funds gain more than equity?
Mutual funds are equity. The equity mutual funds are equity, sorry. They are investing in equity scripts, they're investing in stocks directly. So individual stocks will always be different from mutual fund, because mutual fund is a portfolio, and mutual fund by nature are diversified. One fund will have 30, 40, 50 stocks, and one fund is stock maybe just 3, 4, 5% of the entire portfolio. So mutual fund is essentially a collection of stocks. So individual stock might be different, right? So one stock might give you 100%, one stock might give you 20%, one stock might be minus 40% in your portfolio. So, but on a collection level, your portfolio return will be different, right? So that same applies for a mutual fund also, because they're constrained in terms of how much they can put in one particular stock. They are very diversified, and diversification will reduce the risk, but it can also take away the return, because you cannot take concentrated bets. So they will not probably be multi-baggers. Like if market goes up 20%, mutual fund will not be going up by 120%, right? They'll do like we've seen active fund managers doing much better, but not by 3, 4, 5 times from the market on a regular basis. There might be one odd year. So, but mutual funds by essential are diversified, so their returns will be in line with market, better than the market, but in line with the market. If you're looking for specific equity-only oriented concentration bets, then probably you can look at other asset classes, other providers. You can look at infinity portfolios, those where we take concentrated bets. You can look at model portfolio on the MarketsMojo site. If you're looking for very specific things, those might be better. But if you're looking for a more diversified, where someone is managing this, then mutual funds are better. So actually mutual funds and direct equity investment is more on the type of investor you are. In direct equity, you need to give a lot of time. You need to monitor your investments very closely, and you have to invest. You have to study a lot of things and then invest probably. But in mutual funds, someone is doing that for you. So it's for people who do not have a lot of time to devote to investments directly. They just want to give the money and someone is investing for them. For them, mutual fund makes more sense. For people who are okay to give some time, invest directly in equities, direct investments, MarketsMojo will help you a lot in terms of research. Our portfolios will help you even reduce the time and invest directly. So there are multiple avenues. You can also look at probably other PMS and AIFs if you have that kind of capital, and invest through there.
Shyam Sundar asked this question: why return consistency table is not provided for all mutual funds?
It should be for most mutual funds, because we require certain minimum period to calculate that. If that period is not available, this might not be calculated, or if there are not a lot of peers available that have enough history to show this table. So in those cases, this consistency table might not be available. Otherwise, it will be available for most funds. If there's anything specific, so please do let us know, and we'll just check and get back to you. You can write to us on the support platform, or we'll just directly take a query from here also.
Okay, Mr. Rao has asked two questions. Suppose I close my Mojo account after a few mutual funds are purchased. How to manage those mutual funds?
All investments are in your name. So if you close your mutual fund account, MarketsMojo account, doesn't matter, the funds are in your name. So tomorrow if you want to redeem it, let's say I have an ICICI fund, I can either directly go to ICICI website and say, I have this folio, I want to delete this, or I want to sell this. That can be done. Or you can go to MF Central site. MF Central is a joint entity by CAMS and CAR with the two RTAs, and from there also you can transact. You can transact on anything from the MF Central site also. So you're not tied to MarketsMojo account for a mutual fund transaction. All the investments are in your name. It's not like, if a broker goes down, I know these things have happened. If a broker shuts down, that demat transfer becomes very complicated, but here it is not. Everything is linked to your PAN.
Okay, and he also asked that if I forgot to give a nominee previously, how do I re-enter it?
On our platform, if you've not put a nominee, you can just write to us and we'll update that, make the changes, and we'll send to you. We'll be putting all these things on the website also, too, if you want to change nominee, change your bank account in once the transaction part is done. But currently just write to us with the details. You'll have to give the nominee name, the relation, and the date of birth of the nominee, and the PAN number of the nominee.
Okay, Karan, that's it with the Q&A session for today.
Great. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope this will help you open your transaction account and make use of this. If you have any feedback, this is a new product, please write to us of how we can improve our offering. And before we go, I just want to again reiterate that MarketsMojo subscription is available for people who are in this webinar at 26,999 for 2 years plus 3 months extra. You get 3 months extra if you subscribe through this. We'll send you the link in your emails very shortly.
Yeah, thanks a lot everyone for attending today's event. Silicon Valley Bank crisis has been the most asked questions in the past few events, and as promised by our CIO, Mr. Sunil Damania, he will be with an event tomorrow at 7 p.m. We'll be shortly sending you all invites for the same. Goodbye and have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.